You've done the tests, taken the pills, changed your diet, but the pain, the fatigue, the fog, they're still here. Why? What if your body isn't just aging? It's remembering, not just biology, not just blood work, but something deeper, something ancient. Karma. Have you ever felt exhausted and couldn't explain why? Have you ever had pain? What no doctor could name? Could your back pain come from old regrets? Could your fatigue be the echo of past emotional weight? What if the illnesses you carry, are they not yours alone? Listen closely. Karma is not punishment. It's energy, unhealed, unreleased, unspoken. And your body, it remembers everything your mind has tried to forget. By the end of this video, you'll understand how karma shapes your health, quietly, invisibly, and how simple awareness can start to heal what you thought was permanent. If your body feels stuck and nothing seems to work, this message may be exactly what you've been waiting for. This is not superstition. It's not to blame. It's true. Your body is a spiritual archive. Every emotion you've held in, every belief you've inherited, every habit you've ignored, left a mark. But the script isn't fixed. You can change it. You can rewrite it. You can heal gently, truthfully, and with love. Have you ever wondered, why do two people go through the same thing, but only one gets sick? Have you ever felt that your body was holding a secret your mind couldn't reach? Before we go deeper into the hidden relationship between karma and health, let's begin by clearing up the most dangerous misunderstanding about karma. 1. Karma is not punishment. It's energy you haven't released. You're not being punished, you're being shown. That pain in your shoulders, that weight in your chest, that tiredness that won't leave, it's not random, and it's not just age, it's karma. But not the kind of people talk about casually, not cosmic revenge, not divine judgment. Karma is energy, still moving through you, because it hasn't yet been heard. You see, we've all made choices, some small, some heavy. We've spoken words in anger. We've held in truth out of fear. We've hurt people, and we've been hurt too. But most of all, we've buried our pain. And that's where karma settles. Not in the sky, not in some distant lifetime, but in your nervous system, in your breath, in your joints, in your blood. Your body doesn't forget. It keeps the score. It holds what you refuse to feel, and it waits, sometimes for decades. When you carry anger for too long, your muscles tighten. When you suppress grief, your immune system slows down. When you live with guilt, your digestion changes. The body responds, always, not to punish, but to pattern. And energy, like water, must move. If it stays stuck, it becomes painful. It becomes fatigued. It becomes an illness. You don't need a textbook to tell you this. You've felt it. That moment your back flares up when someone reminds you of your past. That headache that always comes when you feel powerless. That tight chest whenever you think of what you never said. It's not a coincidence. It's karma asking to be released. Years ago, I had sharp pain in my chest. Doctors found nothing. I changed my diet, started exercising, tried everything. But the ache remained, until one day during meditation, I saw her face. A woman I had loved and left. I never apologized. I never forgave myself. And there it was, the weight I carried. Not in my mind, but in my body. That night, I wrote her a letter I never sent. I cried like a child. And the next morning, the pain was gone. That's when I understood. Karma is not what happens to you. It's what lives inside you, unresolved. When we avoid emotions, they don't disappear. They settle into deeper places. The body becomes their home. You may think you're over it, but your sleep says otherwise. Your energy level says otherwise. Your heart knows. We're not taught to feel. We're taught to numb, to distract, to push through, to stay strong. But the body doesn't want you to be strong. It wants you to be honest. And honesty is the beginning of healing. What you carry, you recreate. If you've carried betrayal, you attract more people who betray. If you carry unworthiness, you walk into rooms where no one sees you. Not because you deserve it, but because energy looks for reflection until it's seen, felt, and changed. This is karma repeating itself, not as punishment, but as the invitation. Your health symptoms are not obstacles. They're signposts. They're your soul saying, please stop, please look, please listen. Think of karma like wind. You don't see it, but you feel it in the trees. You see its effect in the ripples of water. Now think of your body as a lake. When karma moves, it stirs the surface. If you ignore it, the water becomes turbulent. But if you sit still, the ripples settle, and you can finally see to the bottom. So today, ask yourself, what in me still feels tight? What haven't I grieved? What story have I been holding in my body for too long? Not to judge, not to fix, just to notice. Noticing is how karma begins to loosen. I once asked an old monk, "Do you ever feel stressed?" He smiled and said, "Only when I forget to breathe." That's the practice. Not fighting karma, but breathing with it. So if this pain isn't random, what if it isn't even yours? What if the karma you're carrying, was it passed down to you, inherited, absorbed, unconscious? Next, we'll talk about the karma you didn't choose, but it can still release. 2, the karma you carry isn't always yours. Have you ever felt a deep sadness, but didn't know where it came from? Or a heavy fear that didn't quite belong to your life? It may have started in childhood. Maybe you were always the quiet one, the anxious one, the one who felt too much. But what if the emotion wasn't yours? What if it was inherited, passed on like a family name? What if the pain in your body was the story of your mother's heartbreak? What if the fatigue you live with today, did it begin in your father's silent grief? We're born into more than just DNA. We're born into history, into memory, into unspoken stories that live inside the people who came before us. Your grandmother's sorrow, your father's shame, your culture's trauma. It doesn't end when it's unspoken. It moves. It finds a place, and often it finds you. Your body becomes the container, not just for your wounds, but for those you never chose. Have you ever looked at a child and thought, why is she so anxious? She's only 5. Sometimes the answer isn't in her life. It's in her lineage. The tension, the fear, the emotional silence, it echoes. And until someone listens, it continues. When we grow up around unhealed pain, we adapt, we absorb. We carry what was never ours because no one else knew how to hold it. If your mother never felt safe, you may carry that fear in your gut. If your father never spoke his truth, you may carry a lump in your throat. If your family avoided grief, you may carry it in your chest as tightness, asthma, and constant fatigue. And you wonder why no medicine seems to fix it. Because what's stored isn't just chemical, it's emotional, it's energetic, it's karmic. I once met a man in his 60s. He'd battled insomnia for years. No trauma, no real stress, just a lifetime of poor sleep. Until one day during a session, he remembered. His mother never slept through the night. She'd pace the hallway, worried, alert, anxious. He had inherited her vigilance, not through genetics, but through energy, through presence, through proximity. After that moment of clarity, he began to sleep. Not because he fixed something, but because he stopped owning what wasn't his. Awareness changed everything. You don't need to remember a wound for it to affect you. You only need to be near it. Children feel everything. And when parents don't heal, children feel for them. You learn to survive in your family by absorbing energy. And the body remembered. The stomach clenched. The breath shortened. The heart guarded itself. And now, you call it anxiety. You call it a chronic illness. You call it aging. But underneath, it may just be old pain looking for its way home. Energy attracts energy. If you carry your father's silence, you may attract partners who don't listen. If you carry your mother's unworthiness, you may attract people who dismiss your value. Patterns repeat, not because you're cursed, but because energy seeks resolution. What you carry shows up again and again until you finally see it, feel it, and choose differently. This is how you end inherited karma, by no longer pretending it's your truth. Imagine carrying a suitcase. It's heavy. You've had it since childhood. But one day, you open it. Inside, letters you didn't write, photographs you've never seen, emotions that aren't yours. And in that moment, you realize you've been carrying someone else's story. You can put it down with love, with respect, without guilt. Because healing inherited karma, it isn't betrayal, it's liberation. I once joked with a friend, I've spent half my life healing wounds that don't belong to me. She smiled and said, maybe that's the most sacred thing we'll ever do. Maybe that's true. Maybe you're not broken. You're just the one brave enough to stop the cycle. Close your eyes, ask your body, what story am I carrying? That isn't mine. Let it answer, not with words, but with sensation, with breath, with truth. That's where the healing begins. So now you know, not all karma begins with you, but every karma can end with you. And in the next part, we'll explore how, in every breath, in every choice, you can begin rewriting the patterns in your body and reclaiming your health from the inside out. 3. Every present moment is a chance to rewrite karma. You are not stuck. No matter how long you've been in pain, no matter how far you've drifted, this moment, right now, is alive. And inside this moment is choice, is freedom, is the quiet power to begin again. What if your next breath could start a new karma? What if your next word, could it change how your body feels? We often think of karma as fixed, like a sentence, a sealed fate. But that's not true. Karma is not about what's been written. It's about what you continue to repeat. And here's the beautiful part. You can choose again. You can live a different pattern. You can plant new seeds right here, right now. Every thought carries a signal. Every emotion shifts your breath, your heart rate, your gut. When you feel peace, your body softens. When you feel love, your cells regenerate. When you feel fear, everything tightens, everything closes, and the pattern continues, day after day, year after year, until you pause and choose something new. That's how karma shifts, not through willpower, but through awareness. You wake up tired, you sigh, and say, here we go again. The body hears you and follows. But what if instead you woke up, placed your hand on your heart, and whispered, thank you for keeping me alive? That one act, that one choice already begins to change the way your body responds. Because what you give, you also receive. Your brain is not a fixed machine. It's changeable, malleable. It reshapes itself based on what you feel repeatedly. When you practice stress, you get better at being stressed. When you practice kindness, you get better at healing. The grooves in your mind, they are like trails in a forest. The more you walk them, the deeper they get. But the moment you choose a new path, even if it feels uncomfortable, you begin carving a new trail, a new karma, a new health story. I remember working with a woman in her 70s. She'd spent most of her life feeling unworthy. Her body reflected it, always tense, always tired. When I asked her to write down one sentence each morning, just one sentence, she resisted, but eventually she did. The sentence, I am willing to see myself with love, not I love myself, not I am healed, just I am willing. Within a few weeks, her shoulders dropped, her smile softened. She slept better, not because of magic, because of intention, and presence, and softness. Old emotions will resist new patterns. That's okay. Your mind may say, this is silly. Your body may feel awkward. Your habits will pull you back, but stay with it, because every time you choose awareness over autopilot, you weaken the old karma and feed the new one. The body remembers repetition, so repeat what brings peace. Even if it's just one breath, one pause, one gentle word. You attract what you affirm. If you wake up in a lack, you find more of it. If you wake up in softness, you begin to see things differently. You don't force the world to change. You shift your vibration, and the world meets you there. It begins in the smallest ways. Bless your food before you eat. Speak kindly to your body in the mirror. Smile even when you don't feel like it. Not to fake joy, but to invite it. Each of these is a seed, and karma grows from seeds. Think of karma like a garden. Some weeds are old. They've grown thick, rooted deep. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. You don't rip everything out in one day. You simply start planting what you want to grow. A single flower, a single leaf of hope, a soft patch of forgiveness. And over time, that garden changes, and so do you. One of my students once said, I've spent 40 years creating chaos, so I guess I'll need at least a few months to create calm. We laughed, because it was true, and it was kind. And kindness is how all karma is rewritten. Today, choose one action, not 10, not a full transformation, just one. Speak to your body with gentleness, forgive one person, or even forgive yourself. That's enough. That's powerful. That's healing. And now, if the present can begin to rewrite karma, then stillness is where we finally begin to listen. Because what can't be changed with force, it can often be healed with silence. Next, we'll explore why stillness is not the absence of movement, but the return of balance. 4. Stillness is how karma heals. You've tried so hard to fix, to fight, to figure it out. But what if the real healing, does it come when you finally stop? Stop running, stop resisting, stop doing, and begin listening, not to your mind, but to your breath, to your body, to the silence within. What if the thing you're avoiding most is the thing your body needs the most? What if stillness isn't weakness, but medicine? We live in a world that moves fast, always chasing, always filling, always reaching. But karma doesn't move like that. It doesn't respond to force. It responds to presence. When you stop, truly stop, karma begins to unwind, like a tight knot that only loosens when the hands grow gentle. Your body has been whispering for years, but the noise in your mind was louder. Deadlines, memories, regrets, what ifs. It all lives in your head, and your body, it waits, patient, silent, tense. But in the stillness, the two begin to meet again. When you allow yourself to slow down, your breath deepens, your heart rhythm softens, your muscles loosen, your blood flows more freely, and your nervous system, the part of you always on edge, begins to trust again. The body starts to heal, not when you push harder, but when you finally say, "It's safe now." That moment of safety is where karma starts to dissolve. I once sat with a man in his 80s. He had chronic pain in his legs. He had seen doctors, taken treatments, and tried everything. But nothing helped. So I asked him to sit each morning for 5 minutes. No music, no goals. Just breathe. Just stillness. He did. At first it made him restless, then emotional, then calm. And one day he told me, "The pain is still there, but it doesn't scare me anymore." That was the shift. Stillness didn't erase the pain. It changed his relationship with it. And slowly, that pain began to fade. At first, stillness feels unnatural. Your mind fights. It gets louder. It brings up thoughts you buried long ago. But that's okay. That's the clearing. That's the detox. It's like muddy water. If you keep stirring, you never see the bottom. But let it be still, and clarity comes. That's what stillness gives you. Clarity, compassion, courage. When you enter stillness, your energy changes. You're no longer projecting fear. You're no longer chasing outcomes. You're just being. And from that space, new patterns begin to emerge. Your heartbeat sends different signals. Your brain emits calmer waves. Your field softens. And life starts responding differently. People notice it, even if you don't say a word, because energy speaks louder than speech. And in stillness, your truest energy can finally be felt. Stillness is like sunlight on snow. It doesn't scream. It doesn't rush. It simply rests. And over time, the hardest ice begins to melt. That's what happens to your inner ice when you sit with it, not to fix it, but to be with it. I remember once telling a student, "Your soul has been trying to talk to you for years." She laughed and said, "Well, no wonder it's yelling now. I've been ignoring it for decades." We smiled. Because healing doesn't have to be heavy. Sometimes it's just about finally listening. Find 5 minutes today, just 5. Sit in silence. No phone, no music, no fixing, no searching. Let your body speak. Let your heart whisper. Let the knots loosen without effort. That is enough. And now, as you begin to feel the power of stillness, you may start to see a pattern. Your health is not just physical, it's emotional, energetic, karmic, and it's shaped not by chance, but by the choices you make each day. In the next part, we'll explore what it means when we say, your health is your karma, and your karma is a choice. 5. Your health is your karma, and you hold the pen. What if I told you, you're not cursed, you're not broken, you're just repeating something, ready to change? And what if I told you, do you have more power than you think? Not the power to control everything, but the power to shape how it lives inside you. Because karma is not fate, it's not fixed, it's not written in stone, it's written in sand. And you hold the pen. Your health is not just your biology, it's your biography. It's the story your body tells about how you think, how do you feel, and how do you love yourself or don't. Karma is not just cause and effect, it's repetition, it's the echo. When you do something once, it passes. When you repeat it, it roots, it becomes part of you. And eventually, it becomes your body. That chronic tightness in your jaw, it may be years of unspoken truth. That pressure in your chest, it may be a heart that's never been fully heard. That tension in your lower back, It might not be age. It might be old responsibilities. You're still carrying even when no one's asking you to. And if you listen long enough, listen, your body will tell you everything. When you think you're not safe, your body stays alert. When you believe you don't deserve rest, you won't sleep deeply. When you carry guilt, your stomach tightens. When you feel unseen, your posture shrinks. So what happens when you believe something new? What happens when you choose softness instead of tension, trust instead of fear, kindness instead of criticism? Your body listens. It always has, and it always will. I once worked with a man who'd spent years battling migraines. He was disciplined, spiritual, careful with food, careful with life, but he had one belief, that he always had to be on, always helpful, always useful, always strong. We did not work on medicine, but on belief, on allowing him to do nothing without guilt. At first it felt wrong to him, lazy, even selfish, but slowly his body softened, and so did the pain, because when you change the story, you change the signal. And when you change the signal, the body responds. One thought won't change everything, but a repeated thought, a daily one, it rewires the whole system. Every time you affirm your safety, your nervous system relaxes. Every time you choose gratitude, your immune response strengthens. Every time you smile at yourself, your brain releases light, tiny chemicals of joy. The body drinks like medicine. It's not about forcing positivity. It's about practicing alignment. You're not chasing a better body. You're creating a better relationship with the one you already have. What you give to your body, it reflects. Criticism brings tightness. Kindness brings openness. Self-judgment brings resistance. Self-compassion creates flow. It's not a metaphor. It's the language of the body. Touch your chest with love. It softens. Speak to your belly with gentleness. It warms. Breathe into your back with forgiveness. It releases. Your body is not the enemy. It's the echo of how you treat yourself when no one's watching. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. You frown, the mirror frowns. You smile, the mirror smiles. Karma is that mirror. Your health is that reflection. You don't fix the mirror. You shift your expression, your energy, your tone. Then the reflection changes. So instead of asking, "What's wrong with my body?" ask, "What's the energy I'm sending every day?" I once told a woman, "Try talking to your body like it's your dearest friend." She said, "But I wouldn't speak to anyone the way I speak to myself." We paused. That was the moment she saw it. The karma wasn't the illness. The karma was the voice inside her head. And that's the karma she chose to change. Today, choose one new message, just one, and repeat it, softly, daily, honestly. Something like, "I trust my body. I forgive what I held on to. I allow ease." Not because you're trying to manifest a miracle, but because you're choosing a new relationship with your body, with your past, with your karma. That's real power. That's where healing begins. So here you are, at the end of this journey, but maybe at the very beginning of something much deeper. You didn't just listen to words, you felt something shift, a pause inside you, a space opening, a memory surfaced, a truth softened, a tension was released. This is what happens when karma is no longer seen as punishment, but as a messenger. Your body is not your enemy. It is your witness. It is the living journal of everything you've survived, everything you've suppressed, and everything you're still carrying. But now, you understand. You're not trapped in a cycle. You're the one who can end it, not by force, but with presence, with silence, with compassion. You've learned that karma is stored in energy, that emotions become patterns, that pain is a signal, not a sentence. You've felt how stillness heals what noise cannot, how awareness opens what effort resists, how love, even in small amounts, can begin to rewrite your entire story. So breathe, feel that. You didn't need to change your life overnight. You just needed to come home to your body, to your truth, to the voice within you that's been waiting patiently for years, maybe decades, and now you've heard it. Healing doesn't always come in dramatic ways. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, I'm ready. Ready to stop blaming, ready to stop holding, ready to stop fighting yourself, and start remembering who you were before the world told you otherwise. If this message touched something in you, if it reminded you of what's been buried or awakened something you forgot was there, write it in the comments. I'm listening, because healing doesn't happen alone. And sometimes one small sentence opens a door in someone else's heart. So share, reflect. And if someone came to your mind as you listened, send this to them, not to fix them, but to remind them they're not alone. Karma doesn't break you. It wakes you to what matters, to what heals, to what's always been waiting underneath the pain. You don't need to run anymore. You're already on the path, and every step you take with love, with awareness, becomes part of your healing and the healing of everyone who walks beside you.